Benjamin guides Emily to his station with a subtle yet professional demeanor. Emily sits gracefully, crossing her legs as she removes her designer sunglasses and places them on the counter. Benjamin, as he drapes the cape around her. The usual today, or are we trying something new? Emily, smirking, meeting his gaze in the mirror. Let's do something bold today. I feel like turning a few heads. Benjamin arches an eyebrow, intrigued but maintaining his reserved composure. Benjamin, bold suits you, Miss Hathaway. Any particular reason for the change? Emily leans back in her chair, her smirk softening into something more introspective. Emily, let's just say I'm stepping into new territory. Time for my look to match my mindset. Benjamin nods, his hands expertly combing through her hair as he assesses it. Benjamin, new territory, Sounds intriguing. Should I assume this involves a certain someone? Emily chuckles softly, a hint of mischief in her eyes. Emily, always curious, aren't you, Benjamin? Benjamin doesn't respond immediately, focusing instead on sectioning her hair with precision. The quiet tension lingers, unspoken words hanging in the air. Benjamin, just doing my job, Miss Hathaway. A stylist should always understand their client's mood. It helps with the artistry. Emily, tilting her head slightly. And do you understand my mood? Benjamin pauses just briefly before continuing his work. Benjamin, I've gotten pretty good at reading people over the years. But you, Miss Hathaway, you're a bit of a puzzle. Emily's lips curve into a knowing smile. Emily, good. Life's more interesting when there's mystery. As Benjamin begins trimming her hair, the conversation drifts into silence, but their connection hums quietly in the background. Benjamin finishes the cut, stepping back to admire his work. Emily studies herself in the mirror, her fingers lightly brushing her freshly styled hair. Emily, perfectly satisfied. Flawless as always. You never disappoint. Benjamin, it's easy to work with perfection, Miss Hathaway. Emily stands, slipping on her sunglasses. She picks up her purse but lingers for a moment, as if debating something. Emily, you're wasted here, Benjamin. Benjamin looks up, caught off guard by the statement. Benjamin, excuse me? Emily, you heard me. You're wasted here. You have talent, drive, yet you stay tucked away in this salon. Why? Benjamin shifts uncomfortably, his professional facade momentarily cracking. Benjamin, I like what I do. Emily, that's not what I asked. The room seems to shrink as the intensity between them grows. Emily holds his gaze, daring him to answer. Benjamin, maybe I'm waiting for the right opportunity. Emily steps closer, her voice dropping to something softer, almost conspiratorial. Emily, sometimes, Benjamin, the right opportunities don't wait for you. You have to go after them. With that, she slips a sleek business card onto his counter. Benjamin glances down at it. Close up on card. It's embossed with the logo of a high-end fashion house, along with Emily's name and the title Creative Director. Benjamin looks up, but Emily is already walking toward the exit. Benjamin, calling out, Miss Hathaway. Emily turns, her smile enigmatic. Emily, think about it, Benjamin. I'd hate to see all that potential go to waste. She exits, leaving Benjamin staring at the card in his hand. Benjamin's small, tastefully decorated apartment reflects his meticulous nature. A collection of hairdressing tools sits neatly on the counter, alongside a sketch pad filled with designs for hairstyles. He's seated at his dining table, the card Emily left resting in front of him. A glass of wine sits untouched beside it. Benjamin stares at the card, his fingers drumming against the table as his mind wrestles with the decision. Benjamin, younger and less polished, stands at a station, nervously styling a client's hair. His hands tremble slightly as he works. Across the room, a younger Emily watches with interest. Emily, to her stylist. Who's the new guy? Stylist. Benjamin, fresh out of training. Quiet but talented. Emily smiles, intrigued. Benjamin exhales sharply, breaking out of the memory. He picks up the card and flips it over, noticing a handwritten note on the back. Note in Emily's handwriting. Greatness doesn't wait. Call me. Benjamin shakes his head, a small smile forming despite himself. Benjamin, to himself. She always knows how to get under my skin. Benjamin stands in the sleek, modern lobby of the fashion house Emily works for, clutching a leather portfolio. He's dressed sharply, but still exudes a hint of nervous energy. A receptionist glances up. Receptionist. Mr. Benjamin, Miss Hathaway will see you now. Benjamin adjusts his collar, and follows the receptionist through glass-paneled doors. Emily's office is as stylish as she is, filled with art, fashion sketches, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. She stands by the window, dressed impeccably, her back to the door. Emily, pivoting as Benjamin enters. I wasn't sure you'd come. Benjamin, you left me little choice. Emily gestures for him to sit, but Benjamin remains standing, his portfolio held tightly. Emily, leaning against her desk. Let me guess you're here to tell me this isn't your world. That you're happy where you are. Benjamin, quietly. I'm here because, maybe you're right. Emily's expression softens, the faintest hint of pride flickering in her eyes. Emily, I usually am. Benjamin, but I'm not saying yes just yet. Emily arches an eyebrow, intrigued. Emily, oh. Benjamin finally sits, placing the portfolio on her desk. Benjamin, if I'm going to step into your world, I want to do it on my terms. I'm not just a stylist, I'm an artist. Emily opens the portfolio, her eyes scanning through Benjamin's sketches and designs. Her expression is unreadable, but the faintest smile tugs at her lips. Emily, looking up. You've been holding out on me, Benjamin. These are brilliant. Benjamin leans back, a mix of relief and pride washing over him. Benjamin, I've been waiting for the right moment. Emily, standing, offering her hand. Then let's make this moment count. Welcome to the team, Benjamin. Benjamin shakes her hand, the tension between them electric yet unspoken. Benjamin stands near the bar, sipping champagne, now exuding the poise and charisma of someone who belongs in this world. Emily approaches, her gown shimmering under the lights. Emily, raising her glass, to greatness. Benjamin, smiling, to stepping into new territory. They clink glasses, the chemistry between them undeniable, yet still unspoken. Emily, you've come a long way, Benjamin. Benjamin, and I couldn't have done it without you. Emily, softly, don't sell yourself short. You always had it in you. They hold each other's gaze for a moment before a photographer interrupts, snapping a photo of them. Photographer, smile. Benjamin avoids Carla's piercing gaze, busying himself by stirring his coffee too long. Carla smirks, sensing his discomfort. Carla, come on, Benjamin. I saw the way she smiled at you. And the way you smiled back. You're not fooling anyone. Benjamin, annoyed. She smiled because I gave her a good cut. That's it. Carla, teasing. Mum. And I bet her thank you took your breath away. Benjamin sighs heavily and sets his mug down, glaring at Carla. Benjamin, you don't know anything. She's different. Carla's playful smirk fades slightly. Carla, serious now. I get it, okay? She's gorgeous, probably charming as hell. But you know the rules, Benjamin. You break them, you're out. Benjamin, maybe the rules are wrong. Carla raises her eyebrows, taken aback by his defiance. Carla, you think management's gonna rewrite the handbook just for you? Beat. Look, I've been here long enough to see guys like you fall for the untouchables. It never ends well. Benjamin picks up his coffee and heads for the door, not wanting to hear any more. Benjamin, over his shoulder. Thanks for the pep talk, Carla. Real inspiring. Carla watches him leave, muttering to herself. Carla, you're gonna regret this, kid. Benjamin returns to his station. His client, Emily, late 20s, poised but with an air of vulnerability, is already seated, scrolling through her phone. She looks up and gives him a warm smile. Emily. Hey, Benjamin. Ready to work your magic again? Benjamin hesitates for a moment, his heart racing. Benjamin. Always. As he starts sectioning her hair, their eyes meet in the mirror. There's a moment subtle but electric. Emily softly. So, how's your day going? Benjamin, chuckling nervously. Better now. Emily laughs, her voice light and genuine. Benjamin catches Carla's reflection in the distance, watching them with a knowing look. Benjamin steps out at the end of his shift, the evening air cool against his skin. He spots Emily across the street, waiting by her car. She sees him and waves. Benjamin hesitates, his internal conflict evident. Against his better judgment, he crosses the street. Emily. Hey, I was hoping I'd catch you before you left. Benjamin. What's up? She fidgets with her keys, suddenly shy. Emily. I was just wondering, would you want to grab a coffee sometime? Benjamin stares at her, torn between what he wants and what he knows he shouldn't do. Benjamin, after a long pause. I assure. Emily's face lights up, and Benjamin knows he's crossed a line. Benjamin and Emily sit at a small corner table. The atmosphere is warm and intimate, the hum of quiet conversations surrounding them. Emily stirs her latte, looking more relaxed than before. Emily, I don't usually do this. Benjamin, smirking. What? Invite your stylist out for coffee? Emily, laughing softly. Exactly. It's not my thing. She pauses, looking at him more seriously now. Emily, but there's something about you, Benjamin. I feel like I can actually talk to you. Like you get it. Benjamin leans back, suddenly feeling exposed. Benjamin, get what? Emily shrugs, vulnerable. All of it. The pressure, the expectations, feeling like you have to be perfect all the time. Benjamin hesitates, realizing she's opening up. Benjamin, yeah, I get it. Maybe more than you think. Emily smiles faintly, her eyes lingering on his for a moment. Emily, I knew you would. They step out together, the cool night air brushing past them. Emily hesitates by her car, looking at Benjamin with a mixture of uncertainty and hope. Emily, thanks for this. It was nice to just be myself for a change. Benjamin, anytime. There's a charged silence between them. Emily takes a small step closer. Emily, you're really easy to talk to, you know that? Benjamin looks away, guilt creeping in. He thinks of Carla's warning, the salon rules, the risk to his career. But then he looks back at Emily and sees her vulnerability, and his resolve wavers. Benjamin softly. I try. Emily lingers for a moment, then steps back, breaking the tension. Emily, I should go. Benjamin, yeah, me too. As Emily gets into her car, Benjamin stands on the curb, watching her drive away. A mix of emotions plays on his face: excitement, guilt, fear. Benjamin arrives for his shift, already feeling the weight of the previous night. Carla corners him as he hangs up his coat. Carla, you're walking into the lion's den, kid. Management's been sniffing around. Benjamin, startled. What? Why? Carla, word travels fast. You're not as subtle as you think. Benjamin stiffens, realizing the gravity of the situation. Benjamin, nothing happened. Carla, doesn't matter. If they think something's going on, you're done. Benjamin looks toward his station, where Emily is already waiting, scrolling on her phone. His heart sinks. Carla, lowering her voice. You like her, don't you? Benjamin doesn't respond, his silence confirming everything. Carla sighs, softening her tone. Carla, look, Benjamin. I get it, but you need to decide what's more important, her or your career. Benjamin sits across from Maria, the salon manager, 40s, stern but professional. Her sharp gaze makes him squirm. Maria, Benjamin, we've had some concerns raised about you and a client. Benjamin, defensive. There's nothing going on. Maria, I hope that's true, because you know our policy. If there's even a hint of impropriety. Benjamin, interrupting. There's no impropriety. Maria eyes him carefully, her expression unreadable. Maria, good. Let's keep it that way. As Benjamin leaves the office, his phone buzzes in his pocket. It's a text from Emily. Dinner tonight? My treat. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Benjamin stares at the screen, torn. He knows he's walking a dangerous line, but the pull toward Emily is stronger than ever. The lights are dim, casting a golden glow over the empty salon. Emily sits in one of the chairs, her reflection staring back at her in the mirror. Benjamin is locking up the cash register, his movements deliberate, avoiding her gaze. Emily, softly. I stayed because I wanted to see you. Benjamin tenses, glancing at her through the mirror. Benjamin, you shouldn't. Emily stands, brushing her hands over the fabric of her coat, her heels clicking softly as she approaches him. Emily, smirking. And yet I'm here. Benjamin sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. Benjamin, Emily, we've talked about this. Emily, have we? Because all I remember is you dancing around the truth. Benjamin looks at her now, his eyes conflicted. Benjamin, slowly. The truth is, this is dangerous. For both of us. Emily, teasing. Dangerous? You're a hairstylist, not a spy. Benjamin almost smiles but quickly catches himself. Benjamin, you know what I mean. Emily steps closer, her voice dropping. Emily, I know you feel it too. Benjamin backs away, putting the counter between them. Benjamin, Emily, you're a client. You come in here for haircuts, for color. Emily, interrupting. For you. Benjamin freezes. Benjamin, quietly. You shouldn't say that. Emily, why not? It's the truth. Benjamin exhales sharply, his resolve cracking. Benjamin, because you don't know what you're asking of me. Emily, then tell me. Help me understand. Benjamin looks down, his knuckles gripping the edge of the counter. Benjamin, I've worked too hard to build this. To stay professional, to keep my distance. Emily, is that all I am to you? A distance to keep? Benjamin's silence speaks volumes. Emily's expression softens, her teasing edge melting into something raw and real. Emily, whispering, Benjamin, I'm not trying to ruin anything. I don't want to keep pretending. Benjamin finally meets her gaze, his guard slipping for just a moment. Benjamin, softly, neither do I. The air between them grows heavy. For a moment, it feels like the world has narrowed to just the two of them. Then Benjamin steps back, shaking his head. Benjamin, but that doesn't mean we can act on it. Emily, pleading, why not? Benjamin hesitates, looking torn. Benjamin, because once we cross that line, everything changes. And I don't know if either of us is ready for that. Emily's shoulders slump slightly, but she doesn't retreat. Emily, maybe we don't have to know. Maybe we just try. Benjamin studies her, his eyes searching hers for answers he can't seem to find. Benjamin, quietly, you make it sound so simple. Emily, maybe it is. Benjamin looks away, his jaw tightening. Benjamin, I need to lock up. You should go. Emily watches him for a long moment, her expression a mix of disappointment and determination. Emily, softly, this isn't over, Benjamin. She turns and walks toward the door, her heels echoing in the silence. Just before stepping out, she glances back at him. Emily, whispering, good night. Benjamin doesn't respond. As the door closes behind her, he exhales, leaning heavily against the counter, his hands trembling. Sure, let's build on the tension between Benjamin and Emily, adding more depth and stakes to their relationship while peeling back layers of their personalities. Emily steps out into the cold night, her breath visible in the crisp air. She pauses on the sidewalk, glancing back at the salon window. Benjamin is still inside, his silhouette slumped against the counter. A flicker of hope flashes in her eyes before she shakes her head and walks away. Benjamin unlocks the door to his modest apartment, flicking on the light. The space is tidy but impersonal, plain walls, neutral colors, a small shelf with books and a few plants. He tosses his keys on the counter and heads to the fridge, grabbing a beer. He sinks onto the couch, staring at his phone on the coffee table. A moment of hesitation. Then he picks it up and scrolls through his messages. Insert phone screen. Emily's name sits at the top of his contacts, an unsent message in the text field. I'm sorry. Benjamin deletes the draft and sets the phone down, running his hands through his hair. Benjamin, to himself, what are you doing, man? Emily sits cross-legged on her bed, a sketch pad in her lap. The room is vibrant and chaotic, walls adorned with art, photos, and string lights. She's drawing absently, her lines sharp and frustrated. Her phone buzzes beside her. She grabs it quickly, but her face falls when it's just a work email. She tosses it aside and stares at the half-finished sketch in her lap. A rough drawing of Benjamin, his expression guarded yet vulnerable. Emily, quietly, you're scared. The next day, the salon buzzes with activity. Benjamin is cutting the hair of a chatty client while trying to keep his focus. Across the room, his coworker, Sophie, notices his distracted demeanor. Sophie, teasing, earth to Benjamin. You okay over there? Benjamin forces a smile. Benjamin, yeah, just didn't sleep much. Sophie narrows her eyes, unconvinced. Sophie, didn't sleep or couldn't sleep. Benjamin ignores her, finishing up his client's cut. Sophie smirks, clearly onto something. Emily sits at an outdoor table, a steaming cup of coffee in front of her. She's scrolling through her phone when she spots Benjamin walking down the street. She straightens, her heart racing. As he approaches, their eyes meet. Benjamin falters, as if debating whether to stop. Emily, calling out, Benjamin. He hesitates, then walks over reluctantly. Benjamin. Hey, Emily. Smirking. What are the odds? Benjamin glances around nervously. Benjamin. Emily, we can't keep doing this. Emily. Doing what? Running into each other? I didn't plan this, you know. She gestures to the empty chair across from her. Emily. Sit. Benjamin hesitates, then sits, his posture stiff. Benjamin. This isn't a good idea. Emily. What isn't? Talking. You act like I'm asking for some grand declaration. Benjamin looks down, his jaw tightening. Benjamin. You don't get it. Emily. Then explain it to me. Benjamin leans back, running a hand over his face. Benjamin. I've seen what happens when you mix personal and professional. My dad, he lost everything because he let things get messy. The salon was his dream, and he threw it away. Emily softens, leaning forward. Emily, you're not your dad, Benjamin. Benjamin, but I could make the same mistakes. Emily, or you could take a chance and let yourself be happy. Benjamin meets her gaze, his walls beginning to crack. Emily, softly, you don't have to carry his mistakes like they're yours. For a moment, Benjamin says nothing, his expression unreadable. Then he stands abruptly. Benjamin, I need to go. Emily watches him leave, frustration and hurt flickering across her face. Benjamin is alone in the salon again, sweeping the floor. He glances at the mirror where Emily had sat the night before, her reflection haunting him. The door chimes and he turns startled. It's Emily, standing in the doorway. Benjamin. Emily, what are you? Emily. Quietly. I'm not giving up on you, Benjamin. Benjamin stares at her, torn between fear and longing. Park night. The kiss ends and Benjamin steps back, his gaze falling to the ground. Benjamin. Whispering. It's not just about us, Emily. It's about everything. My family, my future. They wouldn't understand. Emily. Taking his hand. Since when do you let other people decide what's right for you? Benjamin. Smirking faintly. Says the girl who makes her own rules. Emily. Exactly. And that's why I know you can too. They continue walking, the tension thick. Benjamin struggles with his thoughts while Emily watches him closely. Emily. Persistent. What are you so afraid of? Disappointing them? Or disappointing yourself? Benjamin stops again, running a hand through his hair. Benjamin. Angrily. You don't get it, Emily. They've sacrificed so much for me to get here. How do I throw that away because of... He trails off, but Emily finishes for him. Emily. Softly. Because of us? Benjamin looks at her, his anger fading into guilt. Benjamin. You're everything I want, but I'm everything they fear. Emily steps closer, determination burning in her eyes. Emily. Then let me show them who I really am. Benjamin. Chuckling bitterly. And risk them pushing me further away? Emily. And risk never being happy? Benjamin. Life isn't about pleasing everyone else. It's about living for the moments that matter. Benjamin stares at her, torn. The park is quiet except for the faint rustle of leaves. Benjamin. What if we fail? Emily. Smiling. Then we fail together. She extends her hand toward him. Benjamin hesitates, then takes it. Benjamin. Softly. Together. The scene shifts as the sound of footsteps echoes in the distance. Benjamin tenses, pulling Emily to the shadows of a nearby tree. Emily. Whispering. What is it? Benjamin. Urgent. Someone's coming. They peer around the trunk and spot a figure approaching, a tall man in a dark coat. Benjamin stiffens, recognizing him immediately. Benjamin. It's my father. Emily's eyes widen as she grabs Benjamin's arm. Emily. What do we do? Benjamin's face hardens with resolve. Benjamin. We face him. Together. The tall figure approaches, his footsteps deliberate and heavy. Benjamin's grip on Emily's hand tightens, his heart pounding in his chest. Benjamin's father, Mr. Dane. Sternly. Benjamin. Benjamin steps forward, shielding Emily slightly. Benjamin. Father. What are you doing here? Mr. Dane looks at Emily, his expression unreadable, then back to Benjamin. Mr. Dane. I could ask you the same. It seems my son has taken to sneaking out and keeping secrets. Benjamin clenches his jaw, his shoulders tense. Benjamin. Speaking carefully. This isn't a secret. It's my life. Mr. Dane's gaze hardens, and he takes a step closer, his voice sharp. Mr. Dane. Your life? Your life was built on discipline, hard work, and sacrifice. Mine and your mother's. And now you risk throwing it all away for this? Emily steps forward, her voice steady and unwavering. Emily. I'm not a this, Mr. Dane. My name is Emily. And with all due respect, Benjamin isn't throwing anything away. Mr. Dane narrows his eyes, his tone laced with disdain. Mr. Dane. You think you understand what's at stake here? This isn't about some fleeting romance. This is about Benjamin's future. Benjamin takes a deep breath, stepping in front of Emily. Benjamin. No, father. This is about my future, and what I want for it. I've spent my whole life living up to your expectations, following the path you laid out for me. But I'm not a kid anymore. Mr. Dane's eyes flash with anger, but there's a flicker of surprise at Benjamin's boldness. Mr. Dane. Quietly. And you think she's worth it? Benjamin doesn't hesitate. Benjamin. Yes. She is. Emily looks at Benjamin, her eyes shining with emotion. Mr. Dane studies the two of them for a long moment, the silence stretching. Mr. Dane. Softly, almost bitterly. You sound just like your mother when she defied her parents to marry me. Benjamin blinks in surprise, caught off guard by the admission. Emily. Then maybe you understand what we're fighting for. Mr. Dane exhales slowly, his posture relaxing just slightly. Mr. Dane. I'll say this once, the world won't be kind to you. If you choose this path, you'll have to fight for every inch. Benjamin stands tall, his voice resolute. Benjamin. Then we'll fight. Together. Mr. Dane looks at them one last time, a mix of resignation and respect flickering in his expression. Mr. Dane. Don't expect my blessing. But I won't stand in your way. Without another word, he turns and walks away, leaving Benjamin and Emily standing under the stars. Emily. Whispering. You did it. Benjamin lets out a shaky breath, pulling Emily into an embrace. Benjamin. No, we did it. The hum of blow dryers and soft chatter fills the room, but the tension between Benjamin and Emily is palpable. As Carla pulls him aside, her eyes scan the salon, making sure no one is overhearing their conversation. Carla whispers sharply, You're risking everything, Benjamin. Do you even realize what you're doing? If the boss finds out about you and Emily, you're done for. Benjamin, his voice steady but his eyes intense. Maybe it's worth it, Carla. We've been sneaking around long enough. I'm not going to hide anymore. Carla shakes her head, disbelief etched across her face. Carla, sighing. It's not just your job, Benjamin. You've been with this salon for years. Think about the clients, the reputation you've built. Do you really want to throw all that away for this? Benjamin meets her gaze with a quiet determination. Benjamin, with a small smile. It's not just this, Carla. It's her. I can't keep pretending I don't feel something. Emily, who has been watching the exchange from a distance, approaches them cautiously, her face uncertain. She stops a few feet away, her gaze shifting between them. Emily, softly to Benjamin. Do we really have to hide, Benjamin? I don't want to keep sneaking around anymore. Benjamin glances at Carla one last time, before turning to Emily with a conflicted expression. Benjamin, gently but with resolve. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but I can't pretend anymore. Carla watches them both, her expression softening, though still filled with concern. Carla, reluctantly, just be careful. There's more at stake here than just the two of you. As Carla walks away, Benjamin and Emily stand together, a mixture of excitement and fear lingering in the air. They know the risks, but the pull between them feels undeniable. Later that day, as the salon empties and the sun sets, Benjamin and Emily find themselves alone in the back room. The door clicks shut behind them, and the tension between them deepens. Benjamin, quietly stepping closer. You sure about this? There's no going back after this. Emily, with a soft laugh, her hand brushing his. There never was. They share a moment of silence, before Benjamin leans in, their lips meeting in a kiss that feels like both a release and a beginning. But as the kiss deepens, the sound of footsteps echo down the hallway. Someone is coming. The rush of adrenaline shoots through them. They break apart quickly, eyes wide with panic. The door handle starts to turn. Emily, whispering urgently, We need to leave now. The cool night air hits them like a breath of fresh air, and they both stand for a moment in the alleyway, trying to catch their breath. The adrenaline from the near-miss races through their veins. Benjamin runs a hand through his hair, still trying to process what just happened. Benjamin, out of breath, looking around nervously. That was too close. Emily pulls her jacket tighter around her, her eyes scanning the dark street. The weight of what they just did settles in, and a slight unease creeps over her. Emily, softly, her voice trembling slightly. I don't regret it, but what now? What happens if we get caught? Benjamin takes her hand, squeezing it reassuringly. Benjamin, we deal with it together. I don't care what they throw at me. I'm not going back to hiding. Not when it feels like this. Emily hesitates, her mind racing with all the possible consequences. The salon, her reputation, and Benjamin's career all hang in the balance. But when she looks at him so determined, so sure, her doubts start to melt away. Emily, looking him in the eye, her voice steady. Emily, looking him in the eye, her voice steady. Then let's make sure they can't catch us. Let's make sure this us becomes something they can't tear apart. Benjamin nods, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Benjamin, with a smirk. I like that idea. Suddenly, the sound of a car pulling up breaks the moment. A black sedan slows down to a stop near the alley, and the headlights briefly illuminate their faces. Emily's heart skips a beat. She recognizes the car immediately. Emily, whispering in panic. It's Carla. She must have followed us. Benjamin tenses, glancing at the car, then back at Emily. They don't have much time. Benjamin, urgent, pulling her closer. We need to go. Now. He takes her hand, and they both dart down the alley, making their way into the shadows. Their footsteps echo softly against the pavement as they run, their hearts pounding in sync. After a tense escape, Benjamin and Emily finally slow down as they enter a small, quiet coffee shop, the warm glow of the interior offering them a brief moment of comfort. They find a secluded booth at the back, trying to calm their nerves. Emily, catching her breath, looking at him. What now? We can't keep running forever. Benjamin takes a deep breath, rubbing his temples as he leans back in the booth. Benjamin, gritting his teeth. We'll have to go on the offensive. If they're going to try and stop us, we need to be one step ahead. We make sure they know this isn't just some fling. Emily nods slowly, her eyes focused and determined. She can see the shift in Benjamin. The weight of their decision is heavy, but there's also a spark in his eyes. They're in this together now. Emily, with resolve. So, we make it impossible for them to tear us apart. Benjamin gives her a tight, appreciative smile. Benjamin, exactly. But we'll need help. Carla's right about one thing: this is bigger than just us. Emily raises an eyebrow, not quite understanding. Emily, what do you mean? Benjamin, leaning in, his voice serious. We need allies, people who believe in us, who won't turn on us when the pressure mounts. We can't do this alone. Not anymore. As Emily contemplates his words, the door to the coffee shop opens, and a familiar face steps inside, a friend of Benjamin, S from the salon, someone who's always been loyal. The man looks around, spotting them in the back corner, and walks over with a knowing look in his eyes. Friend, sitting down, glancing at the door. You two didn't think you could sneak out unnoticed, did you? Benjamin sits in a chair across from Mr. Gray's desk, his posture rigid, hands clenched. The atmosphere is tense, the silence thick between them. Mr. Gray, leaning forward, tone sharp. I don't care how good you are, Benjamin. There are rules for a reason. We can't have distractions like this affecting the team. Relationships, especially ones that spill into the workplace, only create problems. Benjamin, gritting his teeth, eyes narrowing. I'm not here for your personal opinions, Gray. I came here to work. And I do it well. I don't need you to lecture me on what's good for business. Mr. Gray raises an eyebrow, tapping a pen against the desk, studying Benjamin for a moment before speaking again, his voice cold. Mr. Gray, you're not hearing me. This isn't just about you anymore. It's about the whole salon. If you can't separate your personal life from your professional one, then you're going to have to make a choice. We're not in high school, Benjamin. This is a serious business. Benjamin, leaning forward, voice low but firm. I didn't come here to be judged for who I'm with. I came to make my mark in this industry. If you think I'm going to choose between my career and my relationship, you've got another thing coming. Mr. Gray pauses, his gaze unflinching. Then perhaps you'll understand the consequences if things continue down this path. I'm giving you a chance, Benjamin, but make no mistake, this will be the last warning. I expect you to think long and hard about it. Benjamin, standing up, fists clenched, voice steady. You've made your point, but if you think I'm just going to bow to your rules, you're mistaken. I'll make it work. I always do. Benjamin turns to leave, his mind racing with thoughts of the conversation. The weight of the ultimatum looms over him, but one thing is clear: he won't let anyone dictate his personal life. Benjamin walks in, tension still evident in his posture. Sarah, a fellow stylist and his closest friend at the salon, looks up from her phone, sensing something is wrong. Sarah, concerned. What happened? You look like you just walked out of a storm. Benjamin, sighing, running a hand through his hair. Mr. Gray gave me an ultimatum. He said relationships like mine could harm the business. I have to choose between my career and, well, her. Sarah, frowning, crossing her arms. That's messed up. But you know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way. You're not going to let him make you choose, are you? Benjamin, glancing down, conflicted. I don't know. It feels like I'm being cornered. I never thought it would come to this. Sarah, placing a hand on his shoulder. You've worked too hard to let someone control your personal life. You deserve to have both your career and your happiness. But you have to be strategic about it. Find a way to make them see you can do both. Benjamin pauses thinking, yeah, I guess I'll have to prove him wrong. I'll find a way to make it work both of them. Benjamin enters the salon for his shift, his mind racing with a plan. He's not going to let Mr. Gray dictate his life. As he approaches his station, he sees his girlfriend, Mia, waiting for him with a hopeful smile. Benjamin, grinning, walking toward her. Hey, I've got some thinking to do, but I'm not backing down. We'll figure this out together. MIA, leaning in, whispering, I'm with you no matter what. We'll make it work. You've always found a way. Benjamin looks around the salon, determined. He's ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead because this time, he's not going to let anyone, not even Mr. Gray, tear apart what he values most. The morning light filters through the large windows of the salon, casting soft rays over the polished countertops and busy stylists. Benjamin, with renewed determination, moves through the salon with an air of quiet confidence. He knows the stakes now. It's no longer just about doing his job, it's about standing his ground, showing that he can handle both his career and his relationship. As he approaches his station, he catches the eye of a few colleagues. Whispers stir in the air, but Benjamin keeps his focus. He starts setting up for the day when Mr. Gray walks in, his expression serious, but with a hint of expectation behind his gaze. Mr. Gray, approaching, voice low, I see you're here. I wasn't sure if you'd be taking this seriously. Benjamin, meeting his gaze, steady. I'm here to work. I take my job seriously, and I always have. Mr. Gray's eyes narrow slightly, but he's silent for a moment, watching Benjamin as if assessing his resolve. Mr. Gray, after a beat. This isn't just about your skills. If you're going to stay, you need to prove you can balance everything. And I mean everything. One wrong move, and I'm not sure you'll have a place here anymore. Benjamin, nodding, resolute. I get it, and I'm ready to show you I can handle it all. With that, Mr. Gray simply turns and walks away, leaving Benjamin standing tall, the weight of the ultimatum hanging over him, but now tempered by his unwavering decision. The salon is buzzing with its usual energy, but today, there's a noticeable shift in the air. Benjamin moves swiftly between clients, working with precision and skill. His hands glide through his tasks, each snip and stroke of the brush more confident than the last. Sarah watches from a distance, smiling to herself. She can see that Benjamin is on a mission, pushing through the tension with a quiet strength. She approaches him during a brief lull. Sarah, teasingly, look at you. All business, no hesitation. I think you're making Mr. Gray sweat a little. Benjamin, smirking, still focused on his work. That's the plan. He's testing me, but I'm not backing down. I'll prove I can do both my career and her. Sarah, nodding in approval. I like the sound of that. Just don't forget to breathe, okay? You've got this. The day winds down, and the salon begins to empty out. Benjamin takes a deep breath as he grabs his bag and heads toward the back exit. Mia is waiting outside, leaning against the wall with a smile, her presence a comforting anchor after a long day. MIA, grinning. So, how's the battle going? Benjamin, exhaling, a tired smile on his lips. It's tough, but I'm not backing down. I've got a plan. I'm going to prove I can juggle both this and you without letting anyone dictate how I live my life. MIA, reaching out to take his hand. I'm proud of you, Benjamin. But just remember you don't have to do it alone. We're a team, remember? Benjamin, holding her hand tightly, his voice soft but firm. I haven't forgotten. And I won't let anyone break us apart. We'll make this work, no matter what. The air in the salon is thick with anticipation. Word has spread that Benjamin has been given another chance to prove himself. Clients settle into chairs and stylists bustle around, preparing for another busy day. Mr. Gray stands near the entrance, watching Benjamin carefully as he sets up for his first client of the day. He doesn't speak, but his gaze lingers, almost as if waiting for a sign, waiting for Benjamin to stumble. Benjamin feels the weight of his gaze, but doesn't falter. He's not just working for himself anymore. He's fighting for the life he's building with Mia, for the respect he knows he deserves. When the first client of the day arrives, Benjamin takes a deep breath and walks toward them with a calm, assured smile. Benjamin, in a smooth, professional tone. Good morning. I'm Benjamin, and I'll be taking care of you today. Let's get started, shall we? As the day moves on, Benjamin faces challenge after challenge, yet he handles them all with a growing sense of mastery. By the time the final client leaves, he's exhausted but triumphant. The salon feels a little different, like the tide is finally shifting in his favor. As he walks out the back door at the end of the day, he finds Mia waiting for him, a smile spreading across her face as she sees the determined look in his eyes. "MIA, teasing. You look like you've just conquered the world." Benjamin, grinning, exhausted but proud. "Not yet, but I'm getting there." Benjamin stands outside the salon, his breath visible in the cool night air, his hands stuffed into his jacket pockets. His face is clouded with frustration. The weight of the ultimatum still hangs heavily over him. He glances at Emily, who stands nearby, her eyes filled with concern. Emily, gently stepping closer. "What happened in there?" Benjamin, running a hand through his hair, exasperated. "They know. They're watching me like a hawk. One more mistake, and I'm out. I've worked so hard to get here, but it feels like everything's about to fall apart." Emily, with quiet determination, her voice unwavering. "Then leave. You're more than this place. Don't let it define you." Benjamin's eyes flash with anger as he shakes his head, the frustration boiling over. Benjamin, raising his voice, fists clenching. "It's not that simple, Emily. I've built everything here. My career, my future. I can't just walk away because some overbearing manager doesn't like my personal life." Emily takes a step closer, reaching out and taking his hand. Her grip is steady, strong, grounding him in the moment. Emily, calm but firm, her voice softer. "It is if you let it be. You've always been bigger than this job. You've got so much more to offer than just your place in that salon. You don't need their approval to be successful. You've got the talent, the drive. You can do so much more." Benjamin looks down at her hand holding his, the warmth of her touch a sharp contrast to the cold night. His breath steadies, but the conflict still churns in his chest. Benjamin, softly conflicted. "But what if I don't make it? What if I leave and everything falls apart?" Emily, softly, gazing at him with unwavering belief. "You don't know until you try. What's the point of staying somewhere that makes you feel small? You deserve more than the constant pressure, the second guessing, and this fight to prove yourself. It's not worth sacrificing your happiness for someone else's standards." Benjamin pauses, deep in thought, his voice quiet. "I've never been good at walking away. But maybe you're right. I don't know if this is worth it anymore." Emily steps closer, her expression softening. Emily, gently, looking into his eyes. "I'll be with you no matter what you decide. But you need to trust yourself. You can make this decision. And you don't have to let this job or anyone else hold you back." Benjamin sighs, a weight lifting from his shoulders but still uncertain. "I don't know, Emily. It feels like everything I've worked for is on the line." Emily, smiling reassuringly, squeezing his hand. "Then let's take a step together, one way or another. You're not alone in this." Benjamin looks up at the stars above, a quiet resolve beginning to build within him. He turns back to Emily, his grip on her hand tightening. Benjamin, finally, with more certainty. "You're right. I can't keep fighting for something that doesn't fight for me. I'll figure it out. I'll find my way." Emily, smiling softly, relieved. "That's all I needed to hear. We'll face whatever comes next together." Benjamin arrives at the salon early, his mind clearer than it's been in weeks. He walks through the front doors, the usual hum of activity greeting him, but there's a new sense of confidence in his stride. The fear of losing his job is still there, but it no longer paralyzes him. Today, he's going to take control of his future. He approaches Mr. Gray's office, the door slightly ajar. Inside, Mr. Gray is sitting at his desk, reviewing some paperwork. He looks up as Benjamin enters, his stern gaze never faltering. "Mr. Gray," coldly, without greeting. "Benjamin, I hope you've thought about what I said." Benjamin, standing tall, no trace of hesitation in his voice. "I have, and I've made my decision. I won't let my personal life be held against me anymore. If you can't accept that, then I guess this is where we part ways." Mr. Gray raises an eyebrow, clearly surprised by Benjamin's newfound conviction. Mr. Gray, leaning back in his chair, voice sharp. "Are you sure you want to go down this path? You're risking everything." Benjamin, meeting his gaze unwavering. "I'm not risking anything. I'm taking control. I've worked hard to get here, and I'm not going to let anyone dictate my worth, especially not you." For a long moment, there's silence between them. Mr. Gray doesn't speak, his expression unreadable. Finally, he sets his papers down and sighs, the tension in the room thickening. Mr. Gray, reluctantly, but with a hint of grudging respect. "You've got guts, Benjamin. I'll give you that. But remember, you made this choice." Benjamin, with finality, voice steady. I know, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. But I'm not backing down. With that, Benjamin turns and walks out of the office, a weight lifting from his shoulders with every step. He's made his choice, and now he's free to define his future on his own terms. Emily is waiting outside as promised, a smile spreading across her face when she sees Benjamin approach. He walks toward her with a lighter step, a quiet confidence radiating from him. Emily, teasing, but with genuine joy. So what happened? Did you burn the place down? Benjamin, grinning, his eyes sparkling with a mix of relief and determination. Not quite, but I think I've burned some bridges. I told Mr. Gray it's over. I'm not playing by their rules anymore. Emily, laughing softly, taking his hand. And how do you feel about that? Benjamin, smiling, looking out at the night sky. Like I'm finally free. I don't know what's next, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control. Whatever happens, we'll face it together. The days following Benjamin's decision are a whirlwind. He spent the past few days rethinking his career, connecting with old friends, and even beginning to explore freelance opportunities. It's a nerve-wracking shift, but with every step, the weight of Mr. Gray's looming shadow lifts a little more. Benjamin and Emily sit at a small corner table in a cozy cafe. They're surrounded by the clatter of coffee cups and quiet conversations, but there's a calmness between them that feels like a new chapter in their lives. Benjamin, stirring his coffee, looking thoughtful. It's strange, you know? For so long, I thought I had to fit into that mold. The job, the rules, the expectations. But now, I feel like I'm starting over. Emily, smiling, her eyes warm. Starting over isn't a bad thing. It's a chance to do things your way. You've got the talent, Benjamin. You can build something even bigger now on your own terms. Benjamin, nodding, his smile finally reaching his eyes. Yeah, I guess I've always been so focused on climbing that ladder. I never thought about what I'd do if I didn't have to. But now, I'm not just trying to fit into a box. I can create something from scratch. And maybe it's time to take risks, real risks. Emily, playfully. And you've got me by your side. So, what's next for the great Benjamin? Benjamin, grinning, leaning back in his chair. Well, first, I'm going to start small. I've been in talks with a few clients about doing some private styling and design work. But I'm also thinking about creating something bigger, a brand, maybe. Something that's about more than just haircuts. It's about real self-expression. Emily, eyes lighting up, supportive. I love that idea. It's you. Whatever you decide, I'm here. And I know you'll make it work. They share a moment of understanding. For the first time in a long while, Benjamin feels the weight of doubt and uncertainty begin to dissipate. Benjamin is sitting on the couch, his laptop open in front of him. Emily sits beside him, scrolling through a design portfolio. They've been working together on developing Benjamin's brand idea, something that represents his vision of creativity, freedom, and personal style. Benjamin, typing rapidly on the keyboard. Okay, I think I've got the concept for the first collection. I want to mix bold colors with clean, modern lines. But there's something else. I need to do something that's going to set me apart. Maybe I could do a feature that celebrates personal style, how clients express themselves with their look. It's not just about the trend, it's about owning who you are. Emily, smiling, clearly impressed. That sounds amazing. It's exactly what people are missing, real authenticity. That's what will make your brand stand out. Benjamin, grinning. Exactly. I want people to walk away feeling like they've discovered something new about themselves, not just their hairstyle. Emily leans over, nudging him gently. Emily, teasing. You've got your work cut out for you, but I can see it. It's going to be huge. Benjamin, laughing, looking at her with appreciation. You've been my biggest cheerleader through all of this. I wouldn't be here without your support. Emily, softly. I believe in you. And I know you're going to change the game. Just don't forget me when you're famous, all right? Benjamin, smiling warmly, his eyes locking with hers. You're the one who's going to help me get there. We're in this together. The space is buzzing with energy. Benjamin's first pop-up showroom is open for the day, filled with clients, stylists, and potential investors. The room is sleek and modern, showcasing the personal expression that Benjamin has built his brand around. The walls are decorated with images of his past work, clients showcasing bold hairstyles and personal style. Emily stands beside him as they greet guests, her presence as steady as ever. Benjamin, excited, a little nervous but confident. I can't believe we're here. This is bigger than I ever imagined. Emily, grinning. I knew you had it in you. This is just the beginning, Benjamin. You're building something real. A client approaches, admiring the displays and artwork on the walls. They stop in front of Benjamin, offering a compliment. Client impressed. This is incredible. It's not just a salon, it's a whole experience. You've created something unique. Benjamin, humbled, proud. Thank you. It's about more than just haircuts, it's about helping people embrace who they really are. The client nods, clearly impressed by his vision. Client, I can feel that. This is the future of style. You've got something special here. Benjamin and Emily exchange a look, and for a brief moment, Benjamin allows himself to savor the feeling of accomplishment. This is his vision, his passion, and he's built it from the ground up. It's not just a career, it's a movement. And he knows it's only the beginning. The event is winding down, the last few guests filtering out. Emily and Benjamin stand together, looking at the city lights that flicker in the distance. Benjamin, with a contented sigh, his arm around Emily. This is just the start, isn't it? Emily, nodding, her voice full of pride. Yeah, and you've only scratched the surface. But whatever happens, I'm glad I get to be part of this journey with you. Benjamin, smiling, squeezing her hand. I couldn't do it without you. As they walk into the night, the future feels limitless. They've come a long way, and whatever challenges lie ahead, they'll face them side by side, building something bigger than they ever imagined. Benjamin and Emily find themselves walking through the bustling streets, the city around them teeming with life. But for the first time in ages, Benjamin feels at peace, unburdened by the weight of his old job. The future, uncertain as it is, feels full of possibility. As they reach a small park, Emily stops, turning to face him. Emily, playfully. You know, for someone who just resigned from a high-powered job, you don't look like you're regretting it. Benjamin, chuckling. It's funny, I thought I'd be scared. But honestly, I feel like I've been holding my breath for years, and now I can finally exhale. Emily, teasing. You really never liked your job, did you? Benjamin, shrugging. It wasn't that simple. I thought I needed it. I thought it defined me. But I was wrong. They sit on a nearby bench, the warmth of the afternoon sun settling around them. Emily looks at him, searching his face for any signs of doubt. Emily, softly. So, what's next for you? What do you want to do? Benjamin, thoughtful. I don't know. But for the first time, that feels okay. I want to figure it out, maybe even take a step back and really live for a while. Emily, nodding. I get it. I've always been a bit of a wanderer. No set plans, just living in the moment. It's liberating. Benjamin, smiling. Maybe I'm ready to try that. They sit in comfortable silence for a while, watching people walk by. Benjamin realizes that the world is a lot bigger than the small, confining space he'd kept himself in for so long. Benjamin, looking at Emily. You know, I'm glad I have you to help me figure this out. Emily, grinning. You're not alone, Benjamin. You never were. And with that, they both rise, hand in hand, ready to step into a new chapter of their lives. One without fear, one without constraints. The future was uncertain, but together, they knew they could face anything.